well, we will go live in just a few moments. This will show in its launch form on the Wise Women Do podcast YouTube channel. All right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome to the Wise Women Do podcast interview series. I'm your host, Pamela McKinney, and we are produced by Linda J. Thomas. This is a space where we speak to business minded women and the men who support them to be enlightened by the adversities that we all face. But in their journey, we reveal how they have navigated through to stay the course towards reaching their goals. So today we welcome, oh my goodness, I am just, and I'm very honored. Today we welcome Her Royal Majesty, Queen Majudib Saidah El Sori, to the Wise Women Do podcast interview series. We have the pleasure to spotlight her prodigious vision, mission, and her initiatives today. So, Grand Rising, Her Royal Majesty, Queen Saidah, welcome to Wise Women Do.
Greetings, greetings, and thank you. Thank you very much for having me. It's such a pleasure. It's always good to do something with you. Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And you are the Queen, Her Royal Majesty of Numi Kingdom, the kingdom of the African diaspora. So before we jump into, learning more about you and your heart, my Virgo sister, before we jump into something that's near and dear to you and some new initiatives that you have coming out to the world, I'd love
hmm
you to share a little bit about Numidoria Kingdom, Numi Kingdom, please, if you will.
Okay. Oh, wow. Numidoria. Numi, Numi came out of love. It was
Mhm,
birthed out of love. Myself and His Royal Majesty, we both saw some of the uh, heinous things that were going on with our brothers and sisters,
mhm,
and we wanted to bring balance. We wanted to bring wholeness. We wanted to uplift uh, the people, the diaspora, if you will. We wanted to bring spiritual truth, wisdom, ancestral wisdom, um, which was rooted in sacred law. It, it's so important for us to realize that as a people, we are one. And so we wanted to bring that. And like I said, it all happened out of love.
mhm,
I was in college and
mhm.
I happened to run across him. He ran across me first. And it's pretty much like a love story how we met, but he was able to tell me about his history, and
Mhm,
I knew a little bit of, knew a little bit of something. I knew something wasn't right, and so I wanted to dive deep, but I wasn't really thinking about that at the time until I met him, and he was able to show me some things, and it really touched me. And I said, we could do this for all of our brothers and sisters. We can uplift all of our brothers and sisters.
mhm,
And then one thing led to another. We had New Moorish International Group of Science and Development, and we
mhm,
were working in the community, just helping women. I was having gatherings with women, speaking to women during that time, and men were coming. We had Dr. Fleming come, who was he had partnered with Dr. Whitaker to write a book called Medicines, and so it was like a menagerie of everything going on during that time,
mhm.
and it I just carried it, you know. Um, and then before you know it, we just decided, we need to do something that's gonna really bring everyone together up under one umbrella, because as a people we don't have our own flag, we
Mhm.
don't have no representation, and because of that we're kind of like all over the place. We're pretty much doing our own thing. We have different groups, aspiring to do different things, and but it's all out of love, just to help us to come together.
Mm-hmm.
So that's basically how we came together. And I I sat down for a while to do research. I was studying health. I was studying about our foods. I was
Mm-hmm.
studying about, what was the truth, what was the ancient esoteric teachings that were going on beforehand, long ago. And I just wanted to dive deeper and
Mm-hmm.
deeper into that, and I did.
Yes.
And so here we are
Mm-hmm.
today as
Here we are
Zumadoria
today.
Kingdom. Hmm.
Well, I know that His Royal Majesty King Jamal is an eighth generation of royalty uh, directly from Africa. Can you tell a little bit about his story and how he became the king of the diaspora?
Well, in truth, we both were coronated.
Mm-hmm.
He had a calling upon him, and I think he already knew that. He already knew that from his family, from his
Mm-hmm.
dad. He knew that
Mm-hmm.
because when I met him, he was Prince Jamel at the time. And eventually, a shaman came to him and said, you can't keep shirking your duties. You have to do what the ancestors have called for you to do. And so he went through his rites of passage.
Mm-hmm.
He also, went through different rituals and so forth. And that's how he came to the throne. But for myself, I was kind of reluctant a little bit because I'm like, why me? Why do I have to stand in this position? And even to the day, I kind of question it a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
because of the dynamics of
Mm-hmm.
politics, or not even politics,
The
but just
journey.
the journey itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
so with that, I said I would support him,
Yes.
and we both got coronated, and then we ended up getting coronated again. I think, well, the first coronation was in 2017, the second one happened in, or 2018, then the second one happened in 2022.
Okay.
And we were coronated again by some African leaders out of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
But even during that time, I was still like, this is unbelievable. This is not happening, But
Yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
hope that
here we
answers your
are. No, it
question too.
does. It absolutely does. And I just really want our listening audience to understand how you became Her Royal Majesty, Queen Saidah. And
Hmm.
because
Hmm.
of, the lineage, the true bloodline, historic bloodline that the king
Hmm.
has with Africa, and being born here in the United States of America, being a citizen here, and taking his rightful place, through our ancestors,
Hmm.
who brought this all to light, and his family. So I just want
I
that to
just
be.
want to say also too that you know we were called to lead, and all of that. I had readings and so forth, and I said, you know what, I want to get a reading. I want to get a true reading, and my reading is that I am a queen healer, and I am a
Hmm.
creative oracle. That's who I
Yes, ma'am.
am.
Yes, ma'am.
His Majesty, he's a leader as well, and he has this calling as well as to what it is that he's supposed to do to protect
Hmm.
and to provide and to proclaim. That's who he is. That's who most men are in their masculine energy. And my energy is that I'm here for women and her children. That's who
Mm-hmm.
I'm here for. And so in my reading, that's what I received.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want to continue walking in that
Mm-hmm.
as who I am supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
So
And your true authentic self of who you are. So
yes.
that really does open our next segue as we learn more about you and your heart, Queen Saida. You've penned a series of sacred letters,
Absolutely.
which will come out in many forms where, everyone, the world will have opportunity to have their own personalized copies. But before we start with the questions, I'd love for you to share your first sacred letter with the world, and then we'll speak more to reflect on the other underflow, that established you and who you are. So you have the floor to share. Thank you.
Indeed, indeed.
Hmm.
Um, this is supposed to be an anointing, like when you anoint yourself with oil. This
Hmm.
is a this is something that is very sacred that I wrote, that I believe that the Spirit brought through me for women.
Oh,
It's a
wow.
healing. It's a calling. Okay.
Yes,
So I have it up here on the screen, so that I can read it out to you. I hope that's okay with you.
yes, ma'am. Yes.
You are not broken, beloved. You are braided with stardust and sacred purpose. This year is not just a new age, it is a holy return. You are returning to your sacred name, the only one the ancestors and the earth remember. You are returning to your body as a temple, your voice as a prophecy, your womb as a scroll of divine mysteries. The world has lied to you about your power. They've made you believe that pain is your portion and silence is your safety. But I, the divine feminine within you, say no more. This is your year to rise differently, rise with sovereignty, not shame. Heal not just your pain, but your lineages. Speak truths that have been buried beneath centuries of silence. Create from your soul, not for applause, but as remembrance. This year is not about becoming more, it's about returning to what you already are, whole, holy, and unstoppable. You are the medicine your bloodline has been waiting for. Let every ceremony you create become a pathway for other women to walk. Let every tear be an offering, every no a spell, every yes a key. You are here to write new scrolls, to design new rights, to embody a queenhood that cannot be bought, broken, or belittled. And when you feel tired, remember you are not alone. The grandmothers walk with you, the stars lean toward you, and I, your first mother, the divine feminine, I breathe through your breath. I guide your hand, I kiss your third eye when you sleep. You are her. You have always been her. And now you must live it. Ashe.
Mm. I just want that to just settle for a moment. Her Royal Majesty, Queen Saida, your first sacred letter, beloved daughter of the womb, keeper of the
Mm-hmm.
light, resonates deeply with a call for women to reclaim their power. What was
Absolutely.
the initial inspiration behind your series of sacred letters, and what is the core message that you hope each woman internalizes through them?
The core message is to return bring your power back. I always say that your seat is your throne. No matter where you are,
Mhm.
your seat is your throne. And because of everything that has taken place and up till now in this world, there are women crying, there are women dying, not just about what's happening to them internally, but what's happening to their children.
Yes.
Uh, you know, as women, we go through hysterectomies, stillbirth, you name it.
Mhm.
It's so many things that we as women go through. Uh, the spirit led me to write this because I felt like we have to have a source. And the source is within us, but we have to call it back. Because if we don't call it back to ourselves, then we could never hear what the spirit is saying to us. And I might be jumping ahead a little bit, but what brought this on was some of the things that I was going through. I felt like I was being silenced. I felt like I didn't have a voice.
Mhm.
And I just realized like I we as women, we are courageous. We have the strength to raise a Buick. Okay. We go through some of the craziest things in life, and this right here, I felt like because it resonates so deeply that it would someone could hear it and they would immediately like get in position. That's what I felt. And
Yes.
so this is just something from my spirit to all every other woman's spirit that's out there.
Mhm. And the first time I heard it, I had tears, honestly. It touched me so profoundly. And I
Hmm.
definitely see how that first letter serves a great purpose. And I can't wait for the rest to come
Hmm.
and be published. But the vision of your agenda centers around the reconnection of the soul of the woman. Can you
Hmm.
elaborate on what this reconnection entails and why you believe it's so crucial for women in the present day?
Yes, we have to come back. We have to restore ourselves and we have to restore our planet.
Mm,
People don't realize it, but I mean, a lot of women do, a lot of women don't. But this planet that we reside on is Mother Earth. She is Mother Earth. She's always producing, she's always growing, whether it be flowers or food or trees, whatever it is, she's always moving. She's
yes,
never
ma'am.
just still. Um, and so all of that, even the celestial, is within us. That's what every woman that's born, we're born at a certain time. As you know, I am a Virgo. You are a Virgo. Even though I was born on a different date than you are, you have gifts within you that need to come out, and I felt like this is something that I need to talk about this. I need to let people know about this. Um, just in coming back to yourself. Because I felt like once I knew about this, because I'm always searching and reading esoteric books and so forth, but once I knew this and once it resonated within my mind and my heart and my spirit and my body, I was like, oh my goodness, this is not something that I can keep to myself.
Mhm.
So I needed to tell, if you will.
You had
I
to,
needed to
and
tell
uh,
it.
but see, the thing is that so many women, probably every woman on this earth, can, attest and really have this connection to what you're putting down. Because we are so well versed to do everything, and we're expected to do everything. We birth, we watch the children grow up, we're there for every moment, and then we do just so much more that we're accountable for, and we handle it all. So if we came back to finding our true selves within ourselves,
Hmm.
this is the connection sometimes we miss, and we get away so far away from it that it's hard to come back and find ourselves. So this reminder that you're gifting to women is so important.
Absolutely, absolutely. Even down to the dress code, and I will attest, and I will not even fake it. But my I love my lounging clothes. I like to be relaxed, but in dress with your head covering and your garment and so forth, it just I don't know, it makes you move differently. It really does. You're totally different. And I say that because of how we've been taught to dress, like our culture and everything that has been stripped away from us, if we turn back from the jeans, and I know we love our jeans and they're cute and so forth, but we have to remember who we are. We are so sacred. We are sacred and we deserve to be revered in such a way. It's on our time, whenever it is or whatever it is that we want to do. It's on our
Mhm.
time. And
Mhm.
when we do it, like you said, we do it so well. We make it look so easy. I think about my auntie growing up. She did everything with grace, and she always had on a caftan. She did everything with grace. She cooked her food with grace. She scolded us with grace, and she sat on her throne. And I tell you, I just said, wow. When I think back to that, I'm like, okay, she wasn't just doing that because this is ingrained in us. This is something that's already in us, but
Yeah.
it's been ripped from us based on the things that we've had to do,
Mhm.
you know.
And
And when you don't
endure.
have the divine masculine there that understands who it is you are, then it kind of diminishes even more.
Mm.
We've been suppressed in every way. So it's just time. It's time for us to come on back and to be who we're called to be.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Talk a little bit more about the male energy in this women rediscovery.
The male energy, the male energy today is it's more ego driven.
Mm.
It's not a reflection of their true self. It's not tackling, and this is even for the women,
Mhm.
it's not talking to the inner child. A lot of us have this trauma that we've all went, probably most of the people on the planet then went through some sort of trauma. And that little child inside is still crying, is still reaching out, it's still showing itself in ways. That's the same thing for the masculine energy. But once they know who they are, and I'm going to be working on this as well, bringing them back to the fold as who they were called to be for us.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
They protect, they're supposed to protect us.
Mhm.
And I don't think if I got 5 women on this platform right now, I don't know if I would hear them having a protector. I don't know if I would hear them being of a provider. I don't know if I would hear them proclaiming who they are, not so much in proclaiming us as their property. That's not how it's supposed to be.
Right.
Um, it's a little bit more sacred and a little bit more order to it. There's a
Yes.
cosmic rule to everything,
Mhm.
and it's balance, reciprocity, truth, um, order,
Yes, ma'am.
just to
Yes.
name a few. You
Mhm.
know, those are the things that need to be when it comes to a man and a woman.
Mhm.
And so I said, I can't just write about the divine feminine, even though I'm so comfortable within it, but I have to write about the divine masculine as well because people don't believe in this when some women say, oh, that's the God. That's the God. We're the goddess, so how come they can't be the God?
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
But because our minds have been wiped clean of who we really are, it's sometimes hard for us to resonate with that.
Yeah.
And then if they're not acting in that principle that they need to be acting within, then it makes it hard for us to say, I don't, you're not my king,
Mhm.
you know.
Yeah.
So
Wow. There
it
is an
has to be
order.
demonstrated. What we learn, we have to apply.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yeah. There's an order to the way it's supposed to be. There's an order,
Hmm.
not chaos. But so you've commissioned the Queen's Court, a circle
Hmm.
of trusted women. How does this unique structure of support and sisterhood empower your mission and reflect your unique structure of support? I'm sorry, reflects how does this unique structure of support and sisterhood empower your mission and reflect your philosophy on female leadership and collaboration? Thank you.
I feel like every woman has something to offer. Um, the two women that I chose, I felt they were powerful in their own right.
Mm,
They had something going already. They had something powerful within themselves that maybe they didn't even see. But I wanted to bring them into the court because the court is not about me ruling you. No, the court is about supportive, to be supportive to one another, as I could be supportive to you. What I'm bringing to you is food for your soul. What you're bringing to me is something that I can do maybe for my business, or maybe for my next design that I may be able to wear. Whatever it may be, it's a sisterhood that I want to bring about, because I feel like, yeah, we have all these different things happening, but do we really have a sisterhood of women where we can go and fellowship and talk? And I'm not talking about church. I'm
mhm.
not talking about that. I'm talking about where we can really get down to the nitty gritty of what's bothering us inside and
Mm,
what we want to see more of, and how we can bring those results based on how we act.
yes.
It's just like this. If I was walking down the street right now and I had on some short shorts, a man is going to say something to me based on how I'm dressed. But if I'm dressed as a queen and I'm giving queenliness, they're only going to give respect. And that's what we want. We want respect. A lot of our women have lost respect to the man, and the man has lost respect with us because they're not treating us the way we want to be treated, and we're not treating them the way they want to be treated. And that's a part of the laws of reciprocity. When you're talking about mayat and bringing in balance and truth and order, those are the things that are so important to building a nation. That's important,
Yes.
because if I don't know my place as a woman, and he don't know his place, then what we got?
Hmm,
A bunch of chaos. We got chaos in this hand and we got order in this hand. Women can yield some chaos, and you know that.
hmm.
You know we can yield some chaos, but we can yield order as well too, and we
Yes.
can do it gracefully. And I think that, is most important in any and everything.
Yes, ma'am. Wow. Your initiatives span across humanitarian efforts, healthy living, and the youth. How do you see these three pillars intertwining to support the overall well being and empowerment of women and their communities?
Ah,
Mhm,
well, of course,
mhm,
bringing balance, bringing awareness. Yeah, just bringing them back to the throne.
mhm.
And
Yes.
just repeat the question again for me
Yeah,
one more time.
but we're talking about your various initiatives, that span across humanitarian efforts, healthy
Oh,
living,
okay.
and the youth. And so, just how does that kind of
Yeah. So
intertwine?
with my healthcare, you talking about when my healthcare jubilee and so forth?
Yes, yeah, different
Yeah.
things, different initiatives that you have, that you
Yes.
going to be connecting the empowerment of women and their communities.
Oh my goodness. I have my healthcare jubilee that I'm working on. Um, I want to bring, of course, the Sacred Letter. I want to bring 30 days of the Sacred Letter initiative to
Wow.
women, especially that, because I feel like that is like number one on my list. And then because I love aesthetics, I love beauty, I love luxury, I want to bring my Le Core forward. I worked on the Core. It's purely out of because I wanted to get some money. I was like, okay, I need some money. I need to do something.
Hmm.
And so the district court came about, and that was given to me divinely. Really, we really have to look at ourselves and say, what is it that you would really like to do? Because that is just meant just especially for you.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so that's how the district court came about. And then of course I want to have a gallery. I want to have a gallery
Queen's
of
Gallery.
fine glass. I love glass. I love things that you could put on the table and and have a beautiful display. That's another reason why the Love District 4 came out, because I'm in love with fine elements.
Yes, I love your taste and your style. It's so
Thank
regal.
you. Thank
Needless to
you.
say. But I think when you were talking about, have your own money, it was because you wanted to show the worth of your own, will to, versus anything else, have your own money.
I would think too, and maybe it's just me, but I felt like women who are maybe stay-at-home moms,
Mhm.
and their children maybe get to a certain age where they don't have to be at home as much anymore. They want something for themselves.
Yes.
They want to have something that they can be proud of and they can show that they brought to the table. I hear men all the time talking about, well, what do you bring to the table? We are the table. We are the table. We bring all of our gifts, all of our
Yes.
love, into our food, into our design, and how we're going to make a home into a house into a home. We do all these. You give us your love. We bring children forth. So it's so much that women bring to the table, and I think we need to get out of that. It's not so much what we bring to the table; is what can we bring together spiritually in alignment. That's what we
Mhm.
need to bring.
Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. I think you've answered this question pretty much when you were talking before, but the question kind of centers around the concept of returning to a woman's rightful place and know her own
Hmm.
essence of her womanhood, which is super powerful. But what are some of the societal or personal barriers that you believe have obscured this knowledge? And do you feel that the initiatives aim to dismantle them, this knowledge of knowing yourself, I guess?
Yeah, just basically how men treat women, and
Mm,
and it's not just one sided, it's how women treat men.
mm,
Men think that we're like this, I give you this, you give me that,
yeah.
you know. It should be even, it should be balanced.
Hmm.
But in that, yeah, I just want to bring awareness.
Hmm.
It's important for us to we have to return. If we don't, we're headed for some real trials
Hmm.
here when it
Yeah.
comes to the man and the woman. We even have this thing now where men could have more than one woman,
Hmm.
and that's okay as long as you put together what it is that you need for the one that you're with already.
Hmm.
So bringing awareness to that woman, and just being able to restore what was lost.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
Yeah. Your whole genre, the anchors in that whole beauty of returning and restoring ourselves. And if the man does his part, she does her part, then, what every single interview I've had the opportunity to say my favorite quote, which is human beings being human. And that, resonates in that sits right in that. If we're human, if we're humanized, then we would have the respect and love of one another, you know.
Absolutely.
So yeah,
Absolutely.
beautiful.
It doesn't go far if it doesn't.
That's right. That's right. So we got to return to that, everyone.
Yes.
Just but you speaking it into existence is just powerful. So
Hmm.
I love your message to the world. But you're launching the Queen's Gallery that you spoke a little bit about earlier, an ebook series comprised of your sacred letters and more. How do you
Hmm.
envision these platforms serving as tools for connection, inspiration, and guidance for women on their journey to self-discovery and empowerment?
You said, how do I envision it?
Yeah, just these various platforms that you're going to have all of these things with your Queen's Gallery and everything, and just the inspiration that all this is going to bring to people. I guess it's just access, probably. It's the access of having these
Access,
things. Yeah,
awareness,
yeah.
and togetherness.
Mm-hmm.
Us
Mhm.
coming together, I think that is so important as women because we don't have that outlet. I don't know
Mhm.
nowhere where we could say that we have that outlet where women just can come together and fellowship.
Mhm.
Not so much as a party or, a conference, or it could be a conference, but it's just all about us and us
Yeah.
digging deep and finding ourselves and knowing who we are and what we stand for
Mhm.
and our boundaries and our morals. I think so much of that has been diminished over time, but that's what I envision in bringing back. I envision that. I envision it being able to help someone. And I envision, as far as my the district core, I envision myself partnering with other hotels and
Mhm.
restaurants and having
Oh,
my
yes.
maybe my dishware or whatever it is that I decide that I want to create to be
Mhm.
in these restaurants or in these eateries, just so
Absolutely.
that I can say that I did it because they
Mhm.
keep saying the market is saturated. The market is saturated.
But
And
there's
I
only
said,
one imprint that's yours. And so that's what people have to realize when you're building a brand and you're going into business and really showcasing what you have to offer to the world is uniquely yours. So there's,
absolutely.
and so that no one else but, you know, whatever the biggest hotel brand in the world could be,
Yes,
has Queen Saidah's collection.
yes,
So
yes.
we love
I
it.
see it. I see it.
I do too. So you touched a little bit earlier as well on the annual Community Health Jubilee, which is another signature event and significant initiative to come, as well as your conference. I just see it all. But
Yes.
what are
I mean,
your
because it's about bringing awareness, about
mhm.
breaking generational curses,
Yes,
because we've
ma'am.
been taught to eat this and and 90% of the food in the grocery store is not even real. So we have to train our taste buds to like the bitter and the sour more so than the sweet, because the bitter and the sour is what heals our bodies.
Mhm.
Now, I won't sit up here and say that I'm perfect when it comes to my diet. I will not say that. But lately, I have been really conscious enough to say, okay, I eat an apple with
Mhm.
peanut butter in the morning, and
Mhm.
then in the evening, I have a meal, and that's it. I've been training myself to that because really we don't need all of this food. We really
Right.
truly don't. Even
Yeah.
though it tastes good to us and it feels good going down, but really for women it makes us gain weight. It causes us problems within our bodies and so forth. Even men, same
Mhm.
thing for them. What it is for us is for them too. So it's really about all of us coming back and being in balance in what it is that we're supposed to be doing based on the cosmic order, you know. And once we can get that down, we'll be able to break those generational curses.
Mhm.
Um, and with this event, I pray that I'll be able to inspire our adults and children alike so that they can learn something new. They'll learn to, try new recipes, and especially for moms and dads, for them to
Yes.
try new recipes and share it with their children and make it a family thing.
A
The
family affair.
Jubilee is to show them that we don't necessarily have to get a shot, or, you know, there's holistic things out there that we can do to heal ourselves. That's what I want to bring. So that's that
Mhm.
awareness, that whole awareness about eating healthy
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
and living healthy.
Yes. Wow. That's powerful. Well, here at the Wise Women Do podcast interview series, we can all be inspired by the reflection of, that we go through our challenges. So, looking back on your journey, Her Royal Majesty, can you share a story of a significant triumph over adversity that you've, had to endure? And really kind of how you made it to the other side. Maybe there was an inspiration, maybe there was a person, maybe there kind of how did you make it through the journey? And maybe that is where all of this stems from, is just returning to yourself. So I'd love to hear your take on that.
Well, I would say I probably was a little depressed about where I was in my life, and I had to learn that. no matter what your age is, you can always do whatever it is that you need to do, no matter what your age is, and that it's never too late. I was watching this guy, and he was talking about the perception of time, because we always talk about time and the time we don't have, or the time that we do have. And in the time that I was having is I'm running out of time. I'm running out of time. And what he was saying was is that time is an illusion, and that when you keep saying, or you keep saying you're running out of time, and you keep doing the same thing over and over every day, it's just like a person going to a job, and they go to that job for 20 years, and before they know it, 20 years have passed. It's because they've been in the loop of things. They've been looping, constantly doing the same thing over and over. So I vowed that I would do something different every day. I would do my best to do something different. If I just had to run down the street real quick, I did something different. Talking to you today on this podcast, this is something different.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about what am I gonna do for our next coming event, how I'm gonna do things. That's something different. So I just promise to do something different every day. I promise to work on my brand, work on my sacred letters, work on what I'm gonna be putting in my galleries. I've even learned about NFTs,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that's connected to blockchain and so forth. So I'm constantly learning. I want to learn something new every day. Um, and I say, you know what? I know I'm a queen. I know that I have a king. I said, but I even want to learn medical billing and coding,
Mm-hmm.
because
You're over the moon. You can do it
I
all. You
just
can do
I just
anything
want
you
to.
want.
Yeah, because I'm like, this time that we call, it's only a moment. Like
Mm-hmm.
me speaking to you right now, this is just a moment.
Yes,
But I
ma'am.
have another moment coming up where I'm probably going to be by myself, and I'm going to say, hey, I need to be looking at this, or I need. So it's all these downloads are coming,
Mm-hmm.
saying, okay, you need to be working on that. You need to be working on that. Even when
That's
you
great.
said to me, well, how about this? Will this work? Will that work? Okay, I'm not the person to ask people for money. I said, well, I'm gonna ask somebody for some money today.
We're doing things different.
Right. Just doing things differently. It doesn't mean that you have to go out here and do something astronomically different. It's just
Right.
changing your day-to-day thing that you do
Mm-hmm.
all the time. And
Mm-hmm.
I think because I was waiting, I was trying to have a voice in something, and it just wasn't working. So I said, you
Mm-hmm.
know what? I have to come out of this and have to find my own lane. I have to find what resonates with me, and this is what resonates with me: working with the women, working with the children, making
Mm-hmm.
sure we eat right, making sure we're lining up with the cosmic order, making sure that women are being who they calling themselves to be, or who they are called to be. I had a natal chart. I got my natal chart done, and the guy showed me how to do it, and I said, "Oh my goodness!" He said, do it every year before your birthday. He said it doesn't matter as long as you do it before your birthday, or you could do it a couple weeks before your birthday. He said because the planets are within us. See, we don't realize that we are the makeup of this construct that we're in on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And so as the planets move, they're moving within me and with all of my houses. So that's why I'm able to be a creative oracle. That's why I'm able to speak the way I'm able to speak, because this is
Yes.
who I am. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. And I just want to say I'm so happy that I was able to tap in and be able to read the books that I've been reading. A book that really like that made me look at time differently. Her name is Spadwa, and her book is amazing, talking about time, and you can call out whatever it is that you want, because your words are vibrations, and your words have power. We've always been taught that our words have power, but are we really using
Mm-hmm.
them for our power? We're
Yes.
using them against others. We're speaking against others. We're backbiting. We're doing all of that, and that's not really getting us anywhere. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that was my down point. I was just trying to find what it was, and I did it, and I'm so happy about it, and I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm in a better space because
Yes.
of it.
Yes. Wow. You've been so transparent and so real and just so, you know, the connection is with the world. I feel like they really truly know your heart. And it doesn't matter if you're the queen of a kingdom, you still can have those feelings of wanting to, contribute your own to the world. And so
Hmm.
that is so powerful for you to not only find that within yourself to bring forward, but also now you're excited about it and you're energized by it and you're energizing us. So, it is a gift that you're gifting us, the world, and we're grateful that you have found your voice to bring this to light. So you are a light, Queen
Oh,
Saida.
and I
So I
want to
want you to
say
know
thank you. Thank you to you as well. As I said before, I always looked at you as being someone very strong and living and walking in your path and doing what it is, whatever it is that you want to do, you're doing it. And
Mhm.
so I wanted to be able to impart that energy on me. And I reflected and I say, she's doing her thing. She's doing her thing. I have something to offer. I know I have something to offer because it's not that I just
Yes.
started speaking like this. I've been speaking like this for a long time,
Yes,
so
yes,
it's just
yes,
now that I'm blossoming, you
yes.
know, into this beautiful lotus who came out of the mud and now is blossoming before the sun.
Mhm. So beautiful. So, beyond your royal duties and impactful initiatives, what's a simple everyday pleasure that consistently brings a smile to your face and reminds you of the good things in life?
Well, for me, I love reading things that are esoteric to us. I love reading about our lineage. Um, I love meditating. Anything that has anything to do with the celestial, the astrology, it brings me joy and it really does make me smile because it's an insight into something that I didn't know about, you know. Somebody else may have known about it, but for me, because I've been on this journey for a long time, and I'm like, wow, I did not know that, you know, and I want to be able to apply it to my life as
Yes,
best
ma'am.
that I can, you
Yes,
know. And it's not like I'm not being stretched every day.
ma'am. Right. You have 5 million other things on your plate. We know that.
Absolutely, you know. And I have my time when I'm just like, I don't know. But I know that because of who I am, it's
Mhm,
going to be all right. And I'm going to
mhm,
do what I need to do to make things manifest and come into fruition for
mhm.
me and others that are around me.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, whew, I want to bring it back full circle to the name Numidoria and itself,
Hmm.
and it represents a conscious step to embrace unity. Can you share an example of how the Numi Kingdom thoughtfully blends its rich history, traditions, historic traditions, and with the realities of and opportunities of modern day living? So,
Hmm. That's a good question, and it's a complex question.
okay, I understand. Wherever you want to go with it, just to bring it
Okay.
home.
I just want to say that we believe in the ancestors. We truly do.
Mhm,
The ancestors are our loved ones that have passed on, and I know of old history, ancient history, that they spoke to their ancestors as well. And so, even in this new era, in this new day, it's really not nothing new. It's the same pattern
mhm,
for today. Um, I would say that our ancestors and the balance that I talk about is something that we, I want to say, yeah, it's something that I know for myself, I'm always, I need balance in my life. I need balance in my life. And I could say King Muad'Dib has balance as well because he could say something today and then he'll reflect upon it and then he'll come back and say, okay, we're going to do it like this. So he does look to his ancestors and he does look for balance in things that he does. And he always tries to be fair. I would
mhm,
say back then in those times, it wasn't so much about fairness. It was just about taking. and making the people be in servitude, And today we're not about being in servitude, even though we talking about building smart cities and things like that. And it is going to take a collective of all of us to make that smart city come to fruition. It's not about you being enslaved. It's about you being able to think and see for yourself that this is something that needs to be done for us to be able to go on and be sustainable on our own.
Mhm. Wow. And I know that if we wrap that in a nice bow, then
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're looking at a 360 to make it happen. Like it's not just one path to bring this, like you said, complex, solution to the world. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that is a 360 view that the king has envisioned in yourself and Numi Kingdom. So for that, I'm
Yes.
grateful. Mhm.
Yeah. I would say this too, with the king, uh, and all that he's doing, it's very, it could be very, how do I want to say it? It could be hard. I'm just going to use a simple word. It could be hard
Mhm.
because everyone doesn't necessarily see the vision, but the vision is for the people. And so the people need to really realize that if it's for you, do you think it's going to be just handed to you on a silver platter? It wasn't in ancient times, and it's not going to happen like that today. It's something that we have to consciously work towards. When we're talking about planting food, building buildings, building temples, you know, these are things that have to happen with your hands and your mind, because we have really smart people that are on our council and they're really ready to take this thing to the next level. But it takes all of us to work together. And I hope that, touches on the question that you asked me,
Yes,
because
it
I know
does.
sometimes I can try to pull it all together to help people to see what I'm saying.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
in all, it has to be balanced, and we're the balance that's going to make that happen.
Amen. Amen. Well, from my colleague, Linda J. Thomas, producer of this show, and myself, I thank you, Queen Saidah. I know that your website, your social channels, and everything will soon be launched. And
Mm-hmm.
all of that detail is going to be below on this broadcast, as well
Mm-hmm.
as the Wise Women Do, podcast channel, which we want you to like, everyone to watch, like, and subscribe. So, any final words that you'd like to leave with our listening audience? And then I just want to say how grateful I am that you've joined us today.
Oh, no problem. I just want to say that in order for humanity to become whole, we have to reflect upon ourselves. Once we reflect upon ourselves, I think we'll have a better world. When we stop having all these outside influences, distractions,
Mhm.
we need to bring it in. Look inside, look inward. And I know when you close your eyes and you probably will say, well, I only see darkness. Well, guess what? You may see darkness, but it's an opportunity for you to imagine what it is that you want, especially for our world and for your people.
Mhm. So eloquent. You're just so beautiful. And again, it's my absolute pleasure to have you to join us on Wise Women Do. Thank you so much,
Thank
Queen
you.
Saida.